All right, welcome to Ears to the Street, where fact and entertainment meet. I am your host HG, and today we have a very important story that we want to discuss. As you guys can see, the title, alleged Georgia real estate investment scam. And today with us, we have a few of those investors here to share their testimonies in regards to this major supposed alleged real estate scam. Today we also have my co-host, Off Grid on Code is on here. He was one of the ones that kind of quarterbacked this whole thing and got these individuals all together to where we could talk about this situation. On Code, Off Grid on Code, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm anxious to get this started.
All right, yes, let's hop right on in it. Let's hop right into it. So, basically, what we're dealing with here is a miss. Could one of you? How about let's start with Bonnie. What's this real estate investor's name? That's in charge of this whole situation.
So first, let me just make the correction and just make it clear: we were not investors. We were
Okay.
we were buyers. There were three
Okay.
different categories. There were
Okay.
categories: buyers, investors, or members. You could be one of the three. We came in as buyers of land.
Okay.
So the woman's name that was marketing this land was Marlena Neal Barnett or Marlena Barnett.
Okay. Okay. All right. Now, three different categories. Now, how did you hear about this particular situation, this investment, this situation of buy land? How did you come into this knowledge?
So there was a big push about buying land on Instagram in the last 2 years. So I was following Here at the Farms initially. They were selling land and they were advertising land. And I happened to see Marlena would be in the comment section, and she was known as Mrs. Business Doctor. So I just clicked on her name because she was active in their comments. And lo and behold, she was selling land as well. So to differentiate the two, Here at the Farms is more religious based, and they had a more strict covenant that I did not want to buy into. So I went over to Marlena's land, which was they were a collaboration,
Mm-hmm.
exact same location, just two different groups, and her covenant was not restrictive. So I chose to buy land with Marlena at that time.
Okay. And off grid, please hop in with any questions at any given time. Um, so you reached out via Instagram. Was this a DM? Did they have contact information?
So yes, anyone that was interested in buying land from Marlena, she would give out. It was a 1-800 number. You would just text land to the number, and then she
Mm-hmm.
would respond.
Okay, via text respond.
Initially, yeah, and then everything became via email.
Okay. Was there any point within this initial negotiations where you actually to have a phone conversation with her?
Um, you know what? I want to say we were able to contact her directly. Yes, yes.
Okay.
Went down. I went down to the land, and it was all orchestrated. Yes, we had phone, we had Zoom, so absolutely yes.
Okay. Okay. Now, when you say you went down to the land, was this before you paid anything to be a buyer with the land? Correct.
Correct. So no, I didn't go down prior to making the purchase.
Okay.
I did a deposit, and then I paid the balance. They had a ribbon cutting ceremony on November 20th, 2021. And that's when everybody that bought land from either Here at the Farms or Lakes of Summersville came together. And that was the ribbon cutting ceremony that day.
Okay. Okay. Now, Jacoby, you're also involved in this particular situation. Could you kind of not breeze by, but kind of go into a little bit about how you came to hear about it? Was it the same way through Instagram?
So yeah, mine was somewhat like Bonnie's. We actually we kind of went through Here at the Farms. Um, Once again, they had like a little, if you click on it said, DM interested in land
Mm-hmm.
or something like that, to that nature. We said that, then we had a sheet of, every all the amenities of, what everything was, how much it was going to be, membership fees, all this other good stuff. Now I was going into it because I'm still somewhat affiliated, with that area and that group. So I was like, okay, I'll buy into it. I understand the covenant. I understand what they're trying to push. I didn't have no, you know, I didn't care. But the issue was they allegedly ran out of land. So somehow we got connected to Marlena. We didn't go out directly to her because, like I said, I never knew her, never seen her, don't know who she was. So
Okay.
somehow we got transferred to her, and then that's when we started buying. Then I went out, and me and my friend, we went out to actually go look at it before we actually made our payments. And first we was at a 63 acres. Then them and here at the farms, I guess the family of the 63 acres didn't want one of the members of the family didn't want them buying it because the color of their skin. Allegedly,
Okay.
that's what we was told.
Okay.
So then they lost that one. So then we moved from there to Perennial Springs, which is another area that because she had three different lots. She had the 440, Perennial Springs, and then Chelsea Farms.
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly, she owned them because that's how we bought into as if she owned them because that's how she pitched it to us. Um, so we pay for the lots. Boom, you get a warranty deed, X, Y, and Z. Boom. So we at Perennial Springs, and then next thing you know, she privately called us and say, me, my sister, and my friend, she's like, hey, I got another area, Chelsea Farms, and I want y'all to be over there. Because I guess she was trying to, I don't know if she was trying to just divide it up a little bit to make it look like she got people all over.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure. But to come to find out, Chelsea Farm was actually a better property. It had electric there already. It had paved roads there, well, not paved road, but like roads, kind of gravel roads already there.
Mm-hmm.
It was subdivided already, so it was actually a better piece of property.
And
So
you
that's when
did
we
get
went over
to
there.
and you did get to see. You say all these properties or just one particular property before
No,
making purchase.
we saw all of them. I seen the 440. I actually flew my drone over the 440. I flew my
Mm-hmm.
drone over Chelsea Farms, and then I flew my drone over Perennial Springs.
Okay. Now is this just open flat land?
Um, yeah. Well, I ain't gonna say flatland. It's kind of
Well,
like mountainy out there, but yeah.
okay. Okay. Okay.
But come to find out, Perennial Springs is more of a dump. It was old timberland. That's what it was used for, timber.
Okay.
So when they was trying to explain to them that you basically kind of really don't want this area because you can't get septic out there, no water is out there,
Mm-hmm.
no electricity is out there. You got to have all these building permits to even start building and all of this stuff. The septic was polluted and poisoned because of the decay of the animals and the carcass and stuff that rotted over time that
Right.
fell in there. So it was a really bad investment. But she just wanted to push forward.
Okay. Okay. Now, were you able to actually meet with her at the property?
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah. I definitely met her. The first time I met her was at the 63 acres, and that's when we had first met her. Which I got footage of that too, because I take footage of everything. So, but yeah, we definitely met her there, and from there, that's when we found out that they was going through what they was going through, and then they lost that area. Then we started getting moved around.
Now, do you think this is a credible the things that she was telling you, do you feel that they were credible so far as losing out on things, or is that just an all a lie you think, or is it a possibility? And I'm just asking you guys for your personal opinion, or at least what you thought it was initially. Do you think that she had good intentions on making good on what she had planned, and then things just kind of went south?
You want to respond, Bonnie, first, or what?
So I think Marlena had good intention initially. Absolutely, I do. However, I think that because she did not pay for the land but told us she owned the land, her intentions went south. She
Okay.
deceived us from that point. So we still believe, well, I still believe in the vision, right? I'm still looking for like minded people. I still believe that we can do this, but Marlena is not to be trusted because she deceived us knowingly. And we specifically asked her if she owned the land. She said yes. And here's my limited warranty deed that she gave me that is notarized
Mm-hmm.
with her name on it as if she owned this land. So at this point, her intentions are not good. She's not trustworthy, and she doesn't have our money.
And not to mention, um, I think her language and how she introduced certain things, such as, oh, the people that's causing chaos, I'm putting y'all at the bottom of the list to get a refund. Things like that, like really annoys me. And then some of the things she do, like for instance, back to Perennial Springs when we all did the ribbon cutting.
Mm-hmm.
Same as we all, mind you, it was about maybe um, it was a good bit of people, maybe 250 people out there.
Okay.
Good bit of people. You got Here Out the Farms, which consists of Ben X, Brother Farrakhan. You had a lot of these different people out there.
Mm-hmm.
And as we got there, next thing you know, we get an Amber Alert. Same time as we all coming out, the Amber Alert that's saying a black man done harmed a cop or killed a cop or some shit going on with the police. So now the police is like, okay, we're after a black person. Mind you, all of us are black coming on this damn land that she don't even own. We don't even know that. So I'm like, so now she's putting everybody at risk because if the people decided to say, oh, they're coming to do a hostile takeover, we finna go defend our land, and they came and killed everybody, what would the media say then? Oh, these people are stupid. Would have been trash, laughed at. Oh, these idiots went on these people's property and they all dead now, trying to take over the land. And behold, we was out there actually thinking we had property and thinking we're doing a ceremonial deed, a ceremonial, celebration because we
Right.
done bought into property. The whole time we could be getting killed.
Now
I got a question.
Oh, please go ahead, off grid. Go ahead.
A question I want to drop in. To the sister that answered when he asked you, do you think she had ill intentions? Do you think it's wrong to propose a plan where if you get enough money, you can purchase the whole thing and then divvy it out? Do you think that's wrong without telling the people that their part will be divvied out once they actually pay for it?
I think it is wrong because it's a lie. You holding the information and not telling me what's going on is versus you saying, "Hey, y'all, I don't have the funds to hit this. I'm sorry, Bonnie, I don't have the funds to hit this. This category. But if y'all can we get somebody? We need some help to come up and rally the rest of the funds, and we can get this here going." That probably would have went further versus saying, "Y'all go ahead and build. Go ahead and build. Everything is a go." I'm buying containers and stuff, thinking it's a go. The man telling me you being trespassed, get off my property. I don't want you there. So
Right.
no, I think it's wrong, in my opinion.
Right. I wanted to ask that because I guess in certain situations, people don't think it's wrong. Me personally, I think that a lot of times we get wrapped up in the romanticization of land and unity, and that's like the biggest hoax to corral us in. And when you, in my personal experience, what I've learned, when you issue out a detailed plan, people say no, that's a scam. It doesn't sound right. But when you add in romanticizing and fun and parks and different things, people will jump on it. And I've seen this like repeatedly, and I've always marveled and wondered like, what is it? Because like where I'm at, we're on 69 acres of land. We made YouTube videos. We did everything. I mean, we did everything comprehensively that you should do. That we thought with sound state of mind. Don't dupe the black people. Be upfront. State everything. And we were never selling any plots. We were just trying to get people down to come down to our land to just sharing the experience of building or sharing the experience of knowing how it feels to be 100% off grid. And we failed miserably at that. I guess we were too strict. But we noticed with a lot of other camps, as long as they talked about grounding and stargazing at night and crystals and different things, people were on board. They were signed up. They were out there partying. And I've never really understood why does it go like that?
So that wasn't the advertisement for Lakes of Summerville. My interpretation and my thought process was off grid living, learning how to do for self, not being in a community where we're close, like rural living. I think that Marlena, she she didn't tell us that she was crowdsourcing or that sort of thing. I see that's what her defense is now on her page, that she is was crowdsourced. We never was made aware that's what was going on. She told us she owned the land. She gave us the deeds. We're sitting here thinking every Tuesday we had owners calls on Zoom. There was developers on these calls, builders, lenders. So we're thinking everything is taking place. It's happening. She's getting trees cleared off of different parcels of land. We're thinking stuff is moving along so that we can come out as a community together and start helping each other build whatever they're going to do on their land. That was just such a disaster that she didn't own the land, because now we're back at square one.
Now, with this land clearing and these certain developments that she said was taking place, is this just like Zoom calls and phone calls where she's saying it? Is there any actually video behind it?
Yeah,
Anything that would give proof toward it?
absolutely. Go on Lakes of Summerville GA Facebook page. Go to the videos. You'll see plenty of videos that are posted with the land being cleared by the rented bulldozer that she rented. So
But
everything.
then you
Go ahead.
go ahead. No, no, go ahead.
So everything was taking place. The calls that we were on, we actually got to see these lenders that we were talking to. We saw the builders that we were talking to. They showed us, different plans like the thermal build homes. They showed us different types of homes, the cost that it would we would incur. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
everything seemed to be legitimate.
Right, right, right.
And I think the issue is when, as she's saying, we seeing all of this stuff happen, but then over, a couple weeks here and there, you start seeing people fade away, and you start wondering like, damn, this builder was out here just cutting down trees, and damn, next thing you know, the builder gone now, the electrician company gone, all these other people they're fading away, and it was due to them letting her know, well, hey, we can't work on this property because you don't own this land, and we're not going to be liable if something happened. You don't own the land. And then so she will come back and say, oh, they just took our money and they just left us out here, and now we got to figure out another way. It was always like she never took accountability for the shit she was doing. And she always turned around and made it seem like it was somebody else's problem or somebody else's fault, that this is why this is happening. But she never telling us, I don't own it. That's why they're pulling away.
Now, have you guys personally spoke with any of the actual landowners? I know, Jacoby, you
Yes.
said that they actually came to you and told you were trespassing, correct?
No, he called me.
Okay, he called you by phone.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay,
That's
and
how
what?
I found out, because I filed the deed with the county, and I said, if I file the deed with the county, maybe if she's legit, everything should be fine. If not, something's gonna come back. And I want to say, I think it was like a week or two later, that's when he called and said, hey, I noticed that you filed the deed here, but she never finished out her contract with us. So this deed is not really valid because she never finished the contract. Actually, she failed on the contract, and she's trying to renegotiate another contract with us. Um, and we want to sell it to her, but we don't know if we really want to deal with her. So, and then that's when he was explaining to us, like, you basically trespassing on my property. I need y'all off. And I'm like, well, I'm glad you told me this, because I literally was buying container homes to have them shipped up here. I'm literally on the land clearing it off. And I'm like, again, our life is at jeopardy once again, thinking I'll own this property and I could be, I mean, we having vehicles coming in and out of there, like just suspicious ass white people in these damn vehicles. They could have just killed me right then and there, and nobody would have knew nothing to say nothing.
Right, exactly, exactly. Um, Now you two are involved in a lawsuit against this Milena, whatever her name is. Melinda, what's her name again? I'm sorry.
Mar-
Marlena.
Mar-
Marlena.
So technically, I am not at this. I have not filed a lawsuit against Marlena, but I have filed a complaint with the sheriff of Chattooga County Sheriff
Okay.
Office. So that is pending. That's an ongoing investigation.
Okay.
Same as me, but I'm actually am pursuing criminal charges against her, just as well as a restraining order against her husband because just recently he seemed like he tried to threaten me in a manner on social media. So we would definitely be filing charges against him for that since they want to play these games.
Okay.
HG,
Go ahead.
I think we should bring in Ateria because she's had dealings with the sister before all of this stuff right here kicked off. And I think that's very important.
Tyria, yes, please, unmute yourself, Tyria. Hop in here anytime. Everyone's free to speak. As long as we allow everyone to finish their complete thought. So please hop in, Tyria.
Okay, hi everyone, and I don't. War can also speak to the history of this because we have a off-grid organization, Knowledge Reigns Supreme. Um, Before I really got involved with Knowledge Reigns Supreme, I know War and the other director of the organization had dealings with Marlena, and so I came in around the time where that situation was going south because she was presenting this plan to us, and Black was telling her that this what you're trying to do does not make any sense. You should not do that. Like if we're trying to do off grid community for the people and build up our own community so that we can be like self-sustaining and not be attached to the system, why would you go and like encumber some property with debt? Because her plan at that time was to go take out a loan to get this property. And we're like, no, that doesn't make any sense. If we're gonna do this, we need to raise money to buy the land free and clear so that we're not tied into some banks. And then as soon as you default on the mortgage, then the bank is taking your property. And so I don't know what the arrangement was before I came into the situation, but for some reason in her head, she believed that our organization was supposed to be raising money for her purposes. And then when we let her know that that was not going to happen and that her situation did not sound right and it was a bad idea, she flipped out and like literally was the catalyst for trying to destroy our organization. And she went on a total smear campaign against us, started telling people that we were scammers, started just like really going hard to the point where I had to help Black, who's unfortunately not here tonight, but hopefully he can come in tomorrow and speak his piece. I had to help him go get a restraining order against her because, yeah, I believe what the one man was just saying about the husband and having to get a restraining order against him. We had to go try to get one against her because she was doing the most behind us just telling her, no, we don't want to have any parts of that. And thank goodness we dodged that bullet because just listening to you all tonight is like, wow, we really thank goodness we dodged that bullet. Even though we had to take a big hit to our reputation and it put a damper into our progress and our goals. We are so glad we dodged that bullet and did not go in on her with this because we knew from the get-go it was suspect. We were trying to tell people, yeah, she's doing it wrong and that's not really the right way to go about it. And so instead of her just saying, okay, well, forget you guys, I'll just figure out something else, she tried to destroy us. And like, it's wow, like the fact that this is happening to her now is amazing because
Right.
I mean,
So,
when I tell you this woman went to great lengths to just really try to ruin us.
well, they say what's done to somebody always come back to you. So yeah, she tried to do that to you, and hey, God sent me here to help just bring her back, bring her down. So, and we're doing a good job at it.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like she's in a world of trouble. And like, she was even to the point where she was trying to say, I better watch my back and watch my bar license because da da da. And all the time, she is the one out here scamming people. Now, whether her intentions were good from the get go or whatever, I've heard a lot of people saying that. I don't know. War wants to speak on this too.
Um,
War, what is your take on that? Do you believe that she had good intentions?
Can y'all hear me?
I, you talking to me
Who?
or the other guy?
I
Can
don't.
y'all hear me? Y'all can hear me?
Okay. Who is saying? Can you hear me? What's your name?
That's war. Me. I don't
Okay.
know.
I have my mic plugged in, so I'm going up my computer. Can
You
y'all hear me
sound
clearly?
muffled.
Yeah, I don't need.
Yeah, you sound bad. I can't hear you. But if the question was referred to me, honestly, I don't think she had good intentions. And the only reason I say that is because she knew from the beginning she was not going to tell anybody that she didn't own any property, and some of the things she did, she just was not being, as she say, transparent with the whole situation. So I don't think she was truthful at all from the beginning, or trying to be truthful, because I think if that was the case, she would have came in and said, "Hey, y'all, I don't have the money. Um, can we? Is it a way that we can figure out how to get it?" We even told her to let the other two properties go, keep Chelsea Farm since that was the cheapest and the smallest, build that up. You can get the capital off of that one. Then that can lead you to buy the other property,
Mm-hmm.
straightforward. And it's like this stupid woman. I'm sorry, but she's a moron. She got a fake doctorate degree, and she's like a complete moron. You can't tell her nothing. She had
Exactly.
big investors come through who was trying to school her and tell her, listen, do this, do that, do this, do that, and we can push this through, and I can get this up, we can go. People who already developed communities. This idiot again, thinking she know how to do and move, and she lost those relationships. So do I think she had the right intentions? No, not at all, not at all.
I agree. And you are
Please, can
so
y'all hear
on
me
point.
now?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yes,
Yeah,
War.
we can. Yeah,
Really
we can
quick
hear
though,
you
let me
now.
just co-sign what he was saying because you were so on point. Like you cannot tell her anything. Like, and she was so. I think honestly, she had self-serving motives in her head, and she was so emotionally attached to doing this her way and getting it done, no matter what. And she was not listening to anyone, and then just got vicious with people who were trying to help her not walk into this field minefield. And but because she was so emotionally attached to her goals and what she had in her head was supposed to happen, she would not listen to anybody. And then she just turned on us and tried to destroy us. And that's the trip part. Like, go for
Now,
it.
go ahead, War. I know you had something that you wanted to add.
Peace to everybody in the room. All right, we met Marlena back about 2 years ago on Clubhouse. We got on Clubhouse. We just had a regular group. When we went in these groups, we found out that people wanted to be part of a community. All right, and when me and Dr. Black, we realized that we're gonna try to help people. We're gonna try to build this community. We met Marlena. When we met Marlena, Marlena said she had land in Georgia. We was like, all right, cool. Dr. Black went down there with us, seen the land and everything, went through the process, probably the same process y'all went through with her explaining the land and everything. And she told us she didn't have investors, she didn't have anybody on the deal or anything. If we got in with her, it would just be us. So she sent us the paperwork. When we seen the paperwork on the land, all right, she was basically, the land development would cost like $4 million on the paperwork. I can actually send the paperwork to y'all right now if y'all want it. And it was like, there was no way she was going to generate that money to develop on that land. All the plans and surveying work, like she had all this done already. So I don't know where it's coming from, but she's saying she had the land surveyed because we got the paper. I got the paperwork right now and the land surveyed with all the prices and everything on it. And it just didn't add up. All right. So with us, we was like, listen, we'll try to raise this money, you know what I'm saying? And we'll try to build a community. Now, she took a text that Dr. Black sent her about us helping her and turned it around and clipped it and took little snippets and created some type of text message she was sending out to everybody in our group. Like basically we was trying to rob her or scam her. All right, come down the line, we realize this deal is not going to work. All right, if we go into this deal, we going into this deal with a huge debt already. Okay, and this is going to cost a lot of money to develop this development because it wasn't a off-grid community, what we were looking for. So to make a long story short, we told her, listen, this is not a good deal for you or us. And Dr. Black told her, you need to get out that deal, trash that deal, because you're not going to win on that deal. All right. Once we said no, me and Dr. Black said, you know what? We're going to raise money to start our own community. That's when we put out the GoFundMe. We put out a GoFundMe, raised $10,000 in 2 days. All right. Now, mind you, I never spoke to Marlena. Dr. Black spoke to Marlena, but that day, Marlena decided to call me. And she called me telling me that we owe her money. And I'm like, first off, I didn't go into any agreement with you, and I'm the president. I haven't even spoke to you before, and you're calling me like we owe you money, like we're in a contract with you and we owe you money. And that was the beginning of her campaign, going throughout Clubhouse, slaring us, telling everybody that we robbed her for $10,000. Okay, I mean, every campaign that they had against us, Marlena was on the forefront of this campaign to try to tear us down. All right, and in reality, we tried to help Marlena. We told Marlena, listen, you need to pull out that deal. That's not a good deal, but she's stubborn. And like Tia said, and like everybody said on this platform, she didn't want to listen to anybody. She thought everybody was against her when we was basically trying to help her. And she turned that around and used that against us to try to tear us down. But what we did is we did our structure a whole totally different way from the way that Marlena was doing her structure, because that structure that she had, first off, you didn't own the land. So you can't give out deeds to land that you don't own. Okay? And we explained that to her. You know, we told her how you could do it and create a community through an organization. All right? And we broke this down to her. But she turned out to be our worst enemy. Every room that popped up on Clubhouse, 200, 300 people, Marlena slandering us. Oh, we robbed her. We took her money. But yet we never had a deal, a contract, or anything with this woman. You know? So, brother and sister and everybody, I feel, I give y'all my love. Next time, when you're dealing with people, you got to do your research. And not just saying for you, just saying this for anybody that's thinking about being part of a community, being part of any organization. Do your research first, and always make sure that the person that you're getting down with and that you're becoming a part of a family, that their T's are crossed and their I's are dotted. All right, y'all. Peace.
All right. War, right?
Yeah.
I just want to ask you a question. So when you did the GoFundMe, she was under the impression that was something that you kind of was like piggybacking off her thing. So that's why she felt she was owed the money when it was a totally different venture that you were involving yourself in.
She made it seem like we said that we're going to raise this money for the lakes of Summerville. But on the GoFundMe, it was Knowledge Reigns Supreme, not the lakes of Summerville.
Okay.
So she made it seem like we was in a contract with her, basically, that we was raising the money for her.
Right. Okay, I see what you're saying. And you and Tia are part of the same.
Yeah, we all the same organization, Knowledge Reigns Supreme.
Okay. Thank you for that input. Off grid, is anything you want to ask to any of the testimonies or any statements?
Yeah, I think I grasp exactly what's going on because of my situation, and I really grasp what they're saying, and I see two sides. I see the brother that just spoke, War. I can see how with them being in contact with that sister, and then them basically poking holes in her thing and emphatically letting her know, hey, this ain't gonna work, so we're out of it, and then we're gonna do our own thing over here. She actually felt like they were piggybacking off her thing and possibly stole her 10,000. I could see how she could actually get it delusionally in her mind that they did something, and that's where that smear campaign came from, which is crazy. But I could see in her mind what how that woman was thinking. She was thinking like, that's 10,000 that they done took from my little project.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's a shame, but it's like for situations like this, we really gotta have a think tank and really sit down and either fully acknowledge or put our pulse on, why does it always end up like this? Like, why is it that we seem to be the only ones that go through this right here? When you talk about land, freedom, and unity, we end up in situations like that. You would think that would be simple because everyone knows the mantra. It's supposed to be food, clothing, and shelter, unity, and black woman, man, and child, and all that. But it seems like as soon as we get to trying to put it together, these things happen. So it's like the most important thing in this, we got to find out how to avoid this, which is vetting. You're supposed to vet people. But I think also from the beginning, I think social media does this to us, man. I think social media does to us, because I think without social media, you would have to think with a clear mind, and you have to envision land, property, other people, and you would use a different thinking method. I think with social media, it's so easy to jump on there, and it's like a whole lot of babbling goes on social media because it's feel good talk. It feels good to talk about black people coming together and getting things. And that's a fucking fantasy world, man. I can tell everybody on here that now. Because if I can briefly give y'all our experience down here, the brother, he's not here right now, but the brother Dante, this is his family's land. Been in this family for 100 years. It used to be 100 acres, but you get people that sell stuff, and some people. Excuse how I explain it, but some people from the South, when the white man comes to them and say, "Hey, I'll give you 30,000 for that land," they'll take 30,000 and they'll go get $1,000 a month apartment, and then the white man will end up with a land that costs 130,000. That happens a lot down here. But what we've noticed is that when we got down here, we put the word out. Our thing was called Free Range Humanity Project. We made YouTube videos. We used to come out here and we used to camp. We used to come out here on the weekend. We would set our tents up, and we would camp out here. We went from coming out on the weekend to camp to coming out also on the weekdays to when COVID hit, full fledged. We came out here with our chickens, and this was our home ever since. And we went from living in tents to building our first shed to building cabins out here. And within the course of COVID happening to where we're at right now, we have 3 operable cabins. All the cabins are fully solar panel. All the cabins have heat, electricity, has everything. We don't have. We are 100% off grid. We are not 100% of self-sustainable just yet. We have chickens. There has been days where we've actually eaten out of our garden, including with the chickens, and fed ourselves off the land without anything. We collect rainwater. We bring in natural spring water from Hot Springs, Arkansas. We travel way to Arkansas to get our spring water because we have a connection down there. And we just been out here building. And our mantra was, hey, black folks, we know it's hard. We know people are worried about bugs and all other kind of asinine, silly ass shit when people live with roaches and killers and drug dealers and all this stuff in the city people live with. But for some strange reason, bugs and spiders seem to scare people to death. We've told people, we're not saying quit your jobs and fuck the system and come on out here. We never said that. We were just like, come out here and get your feet wet. Now, we personally are on that. But it's like, why not take advantage of people that's willing to go ahead and pave the road and reaching back and saying, hey, come on over here and see what it's about. You ain't got to disrupt your life out there. Just plan a weekend. Come on out here. Get your feet really wet on an off-grid setting, and that way you can see what it's like. So when you go back home, it'll diminish that whole fantasy role of unity and all that stuff, because it gets real out here. You actually see roles take place out here as they should, because it comes down to out here, you have to use supreme forethought when you're out here. There's no electrical system, there's no plumbing, there's no nothing. You got to figure everything out on your own, and once you do, you feel accomplished. And that right there is actually the vetting system. That's what we use. Like us personally, we don't do Zoom. We are highly against Zoom meetings and chit chatting online, because that breeds a fantasy. It breeds fantasy. What we use as a vetting system is, when you coming down here, what date, and we'll meet you at the front. And when you come down here, when we work together, when we build it, because we got plenty of things to work on down here. We can show you about the solar panels. We can install a solar panel. We can actually build a cabin while you're here. We can do it's a lot of things to do. We're a small community. So it's like, we use a vetting system of working together. When people come here and they come with their boots and their gloves and their phones and everything, and we actually work together, that's when we chit chat. We chit chat with you when you got a hammer in your hand, because chit chatting online, you'll say anything. I can tell you anything from here. We got this, we got that. But when you bring your ass down here and we work together, you see who's lazy. You see who use ingenuity. You see everything you need to see that you could never get from on the internet. So I like to bestow that on y'all. Have the Zoom meetings and do all of that, but you'll never know how people work until you get them into a working environment where you have to work together, and all the roles will play out. You'll see everything that you need to know.
So how can
I agree. And that's how I met you guys, because I came down there. And you knew it was real. And then these guys came up to my camp in Florida and helped me build it out and build out my whole solar, and helped me frame out my living area and everything. That's exactly what happened. It was through hard work and dedication and partnership.
Hmm. So how can
And
I
one more
find out?
thing, one more
Let
thing about to add, Sister Linnea, the story is so interesting because she ain't know me from nothing. She ain't know me from nothing. We were Facebook friends, and the sister came down here. She brought her kids down here. We had another brother down here. We shot the guns. We did everything. That's how black people supposed to do it. You got to take a chance, but you vet people. It's like use your offline sense. Don't use the online sense, but people show you and tell you through a direct message. Use your regular sense offline. The sister came down here, and then years later, she's fully off grid. You know what I mean? So it's like these are the stories y'all don't hear about, and none of us charge for we've never had any type of monetary compensation attached to any of our camp. Only thing we have attached to it now is obviously, these solar panels and stuff cost money. If we're going to entertain people here, we may be at work because we still work. It ain't all gravy. We actually, I work for Little Rock Stage Group, so I travel to Little Rock from where I'm at now. I'm near Shreveport, Louisiana, but we travel out there. So the only attachment we do now is as far as us being compensated for entertaining you down here. But you're gonna leave. You're gonna leave with so much knowledge, and you're gonna feel good about yourself because your feet gonna be planted in a place that's 100% off grid, and you'll know everything you need to know. So when you go back, you ain't gonna look at it the way you see it on Facebook and YouTube. You're gonna see it for it being real. And we welcome people down here. We tell you only thing you need to bring is your sleeping bag. We got everything else.
Yep. And Jacoby
go.
has been to my camp. Jacoby was here in February, so he
Okay.
could tell you that is real.
Let Bonnie. I know Bonnie. I think you had a question. Could
Yeah,
you
can
please
you
get?
guys drop your information in the chat, like your Facebook handle, so that I can follow you and because I would be interested, very interested in this.
All
Definitely,
right.
definitely.
Most definitely, most definitely. Perfectly said, off grid. I recently linked with the brother. I'll actually be down there in a couple weeks to get my training in. So it's definitely worth it. They have the real experience. They have the capability, and we want to make sure. And what is to the streets, we want to make sure, and off grid is that we're dealing with people that's on the up and up. It's okay if you're not well versed in everything that you do, but we got to be dealing with good-hearted people that have good intentions and follow through with those good intentions. With this particular lady, whether it was initially or somewhere down the road, she veered off, and should no one be coming out of money and not getting a fair compensation or at least a return on their money. You know what I'm saying? And
She
so,
veered off and never came back on the road.
right, exactly. So we get we tend to see this happening a lot in our community. Like Off Grid said, we got a lot of people that's so-called leaders of the community. They promise these projects, these extravagant projects, and it's been like 15 years and there's still nothing that happened. But there's been millions and hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars that's been donated to see this. Because we want to sometimes be on the right side of history. Even if it's just sending in a 20, 30, 40, 50 dollar donation, we want to make it. We want to feel like, okay, we're attaching ourselves to something that's gonna be progressive for our people. And we have a lot of people that take advantage of that, and we're definitely geared toward pointing out anyone who's trying to take advantage of the community, because that's a no right there. Is anything anybody want to say? I want to make sure that we get to express ourselves tonight, but I also want to make sure that I get all you guys back on, because this is an
I
ongoing thing, and we constantly want to get updated with it. Go ahead, Jacoby.
I kind of wanted to piggyback off the young lady. I'm not sure which one it was, but the one that was talking to the point of um, how Marlena carry on. So like for instance, with me, I'm banned off of like every little platform that they may possibly have.
Mm-hmm.
Like we used to do the Zoom calls. It started when I found out the man called me and told me I was kicked off. She wanted to privately talk to me about it. I wasn't feeling that because I'm more of a people's person. Like I'm gonna bring this to the people, let them come up with a judgment, and then they can move on how they want to move on. So I did it on the Zoom call, and from that day forward, she blocked me off every Zoom call. She took me off a Telegram app, social medias, every social media platform I'm blocked on, so I can't see nothing. So it's like she say, the young lady was saying, she'll attack you, but she do it now unblocked. So she attacking me, but I can't see what she's saying to defend myself. So, oh, he's doing this and he's doing that, or she's trying to show text messages, and I'm like, baby, you got to show the rest of the text messages so people can see it's not what you actually putting out there. So she's good at doing stuff like that. But you know, she's gonna go to jail. We definitely not gonna give up on this. Um, the hell that she caused everybody else, she's getting it as we speak. At this point, she's trying to flee to allegedly she's trying to flee to Texas, where she allegedly building a house at. So, but like I told
Okay.
him, tell her she can run, but she can't hide.
So the unfortunate part of all of this too is when we finally got fed up, we're almost like what 9 months in, no progress, still calls but no progress. When we start asking the uncomfortable questions, that's when you start getting blocked one by one. You're getting
Mm-hmm.
taken off different social media platforms so that you can't be heard.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're asking for the refund. Now I mean, I've been asking for a refund since May 24th of last year. And I will follow up through email just on the same thread, just so that I can keep all my stuff together. And it's always the same thing. We are working on processing your refund. So here we are in March, nearly a year later, and she's saying that she's acquiring 98 more acres in other areas. You got money, but you're not giving us refunds. Now I felt the need to go vocal, to go
Mm-hmm.
public with this. And we're public enemy number one. Now she's the victim. We're creating chaos and confusion. We did this, we did that. And I had no idea she's been at this longer than 2021 when I gave her the money. I had no idea she had been doing this prior to this.
Yeah, I
I
read
didn't
a. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I didn't do any research on her. I thought this was all brand new, and like I think Off Grid just said, we really have to do our research. Social media makes everything look glamorous, makes everything look like it is going to be legitimate.
Mm-hmm.
But so many master classes have been formed. You ask somebody, how you do something, they got a master class you got to pay for just to get an answer nowadays. And
Yeah.
it's just so deceptive,
Yeah.
because we do want to get together as Black people. We do want to practice group economics, but it's not happening. It's not happening.
Yeah, it's just like off grid said, to piggyback off what both of you just said. This social media thing, it has to be, it has to be handled with a extreme caution. Because people don't know people. Everyone has a hustle about themselves with this thing, and you just have to let time kind of tell and do your due diligence to make sure you're dealing with someone that's on the up and up. Um, I want to ask you. Now, I see in this particular article, it says something about a Serena Hajimara. Have y'all heard of that? Does that name sound familiar?
Shan. So this was a lady that was, I guess, initially with her. Like if you research Marlena now, you'll see back in the day she started this off with this lady named Chandrina.
Sandrina. Okay.
I think that's her name. I
Yeah.
don't know her personally, but very, very early in the beginning, I think it was March 2022 is when I was introduced to her. She somehow reached out to me for no apparent reason to tell me that, hey, beware of Marlena. It was she I was working with her with three other ladies, and we were all doing this together. And all of a sudden, Marlena started taking control. She started putting the project in her name and her LLC, and slowly we began to fizz out. So she says Marlena is not being upfront. And at that point, I said, you know what? This is just that divide and conquer that runs in the Black community. I don't want to, just listen to what she's saying. I need to form my own opinion. So I stuck it out with Marlena, but
Mm-hmm.
it started rearing its ugly head. Marlena started not taking counsel. She started doing exactly the things that this woman had told me she was going to do. And so Chandrina has been like really, really low key. She hasn't said anything, but we do know that she exists and that her and Marlena do not get along at all.
Okay. Okay. Now I know you guys haven't went the lawyer route yet, but you're considering it. Do you guys have a time frame on when you guys may apply a little bit more pressure legally?
So I didn't want to go the lawyer route personally because I feel as though I'm going to waste resources if I get a judgment against her. She can easily file bankruptcy, and all that's for nothing. I need her to be prosecuted. That way, where criminal charges are brought up against her by the city or by the state. So I just didn't see much benefit of going after her civilly, honestly. Because in my opinion, I think she can just, like I said, file the bankruptcy if I get a judgment, and then what?
And
That's
Okay.
just
I
my
get,
feelings.
I understand that. I mean, I am a lawyer, and like we were considering just going after her for defamation and slander, but then it's like lawsuits take money. These lawsuits take big money and big energy, lot very time consuming. All for you to get a judgment against someone, and like she said, they are either insolvent or they go file bankruptcy, and then that's just wiped all the way away. So, like, if she is prosecuted criminally, then she will be ordered to pay restitution as a part of her probation or whatever.
Mm.
So you might have a better chance through the criminal proceedings, but it seems like I don't think she's been arrested yet or anything. But the sheriff's department is saying that they're investigating. But sometimes the criminal process can take some time. They have to
And
gather their evidence, but
in my opinion to that, I think that's why she's doing what she's doing, because she know like they're not gonna go through the hassle of getting a lawyer. They're not gonna go through all of that, so I can still push my project forward. I can still tell them I'm issuing refunds. And the reason we decided to like really go forward, I'm like, listen, I don't want to hit no statute of limitation with this. We've been waited so long, and then they be like, well, y'all actually waited too long to do anything. I'm like, no, we're gonna go after this, and we're gonna go balls to the walls with it. If I have to be the face of it, so be it.
Right.
As long as we get it out there, and that's what. But now the pressure is being put on her, so now she's like, damn, this is really happening.
I
Right.
think,
Right. Right.
yeah,
I
that's
think,
true.
I think you got to be careful and not be too much emotionally invested in the get back on her. Because then don't get me wrong, I understand it. I mean, me personally, I would take a whole different route. I wish it was the way I could help y'all without putting it all out there. But y'all meet me, then we'll talk. But from what I've seen on the news, she's already preparing her defense. And what she's going to do is the first thing she said was, we had to pay surveyors, we had to pay this, and we had to pay that. So she's going to fandangle. I believe that some things that she kicked out money for in the beginning before she received you guys' money, she's going to try to attach that receipt to you guys' money and say, I'm gonna give you a refund, but it's going to be all these deductions. She said
Mm-hmm.
it stated. She said that on the report that I seen. You know what I mean? And as far as like the police calling her in, I wouldn't put too much on that because at the end of the day, she duped some black people. They may want to investigate to see how many more black people are doing this to make sure that the dupers aren't getting too much money. But I think ultimately, I don't think they're really going to push a line too much. If you guys know the story about the Mallorys out there in Colorado, this is a couple that transferred from Houston to El Paso County in 2021 or either 2020. They were out there and they made claims of racism out there, even down to the police out there, the citizens and everything. It's 86% white out there. And they set a GoFundMe up and they asked for 25,000. Right now they are sitting on over $200,000 and they didn't show nothing. They didn't do nothing. A few people went up there to help them protect them and do whatever, and they sitting fat right now. And even another guy went up there to do some protecting, and he made off with $14,000. You know what I mean? So this is a money thing, and myself and HD, we followed that case. You know what I mean? Because the same way y'all were adamant and really believed in what she was doing, we in turn believe in when we hear stories like that, go help. I think it's horrible that it's some black people way up in Colorado and people are discriminating against them and killing their cattle and writing the N word on walls and doing and vandalizing and everything. So we were actually gearing up to go up there. We had people donating money. We were trying to go up there, but we sat back for a minute because remember the internet is a monster. It can be useful, but you have to like detach yourself, like spend a day off of it and then use your own brain without the aid of Wi-Fi, and then you'll slowly start to see things. And we started investigating, and now I wouldn't do nothing but go up there and kick both of them in their ass because they got away with $200,000 and they didn't prove anything. They didn't prove anything, and they call themselves Freedom Acres Ranch. They sit on 1,000 acres, and they ain't helping no black people. They made off. They made off with $200,000.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. I'm actually involved. This has nothing to do with land, but just so far as to kind of speak to y'all situation with how you can use the court systems to kind of drag this thing out, or use the court systems in a way where like we just know people aren't going to try to sue us because it's very costly. I'm in a situation now where I actually got sent to cease and desist because of a movie I did and never got compensated for it, and it's going on close to 2 years now. You know what I'm saying? So and this particular person is basically just kind of doing what this woman did with y'all, taking advantage of your aspirations to be a part of something, to do something, and then just never pay you. You know what I'm saying? And then, I took kind of the approach that Jacoby did by mentioning some things online, and then now I've been blocked from everything. I got a cease and desist as an email. So I sympathize with what you guys are going through, and it's a lot of people that's getting duped this way. And like I said, we're definitely geared toward shining some light on this situation. We're going to continue to shine light on this situation. I want all you guys to make sure that you guys follow the page. We have a few of the social media tags or names, so make sure you follow everybody. Take a screenshot of it. Follow all of us. I'll put mine up here right now, which is Ears to the Street, just the way it's spelled on the channel. But we got to stop this from happening, and we can do this. We can come together and have these communities. We just like Off Grid said, we just got to go through a fine vetting system with people. Take our time before we start sending any cash to people. And now let me ask y'all this question, because we're going to try to wrap it up real soon. Now, I think Jacoby, his phone died. Bonnie, did you get a chance were you at the ceremony for the ribbon cutting?
I was.
And you are familiar with Brother Ben X?
Yes.
Have you been hearing anything? Because, we are familiar with Ben X. Have you been hearing him address this situation in any shape, form, or fashion? I don't know what his involvement is, if he was just at the ceremony, or, does he have a little bit, more stake in this situation? Have you heard anything in regards to him?
No, I haven't. I've been more just involved with Marlena and just getting exposure with Marlena.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Well, is there anything anyone wants to say before we wrap it up? If you guys can, we can come back tomorrow, maybe around the same time, or we can push for a Friday, and bring back anybody that's else involved in this that you know of, so we can get the full story. We want to keep pushing this thing until we get you guys, your justice.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I can come back tomorrow same time. That's fine. But the people in our group are willing to talk. They're ready to get their story out. They want more than just me and Jacoby's face on this, so they're on board.
Okay. Well, let's see if we can get. Yeah, let's.
I'm sorry. That's a question I did have. Does anyone know, like, how many people put up money and were part of her situation?
So let me. In the article in the Canvas Rebel article that she did February 3rd, she said she had 40 families. And when we were at the ribbon cutting ceremony, it was 50 families there and 100 acres. So I'm going to just assume she had at least 40 families, and that just meaning 40 people with kids. But as far as the contribution with money, she said she collected about $150,000. We know it's more than that, because
definitely it's so much more than that.
Yeah, we know it's more than that.
So guesstimation wise, I don't know if you have exact figures, but how much are we talking here?
I didn't even bother to guess. I didn't even bother.
Okay.
Jacoby,
I would probably say at least double what she's representing.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Does anyone else have anything they want to say? I wanna kind of finish off with you, off grid, and then we'll wrap it up. Does anyone have anything else to say before off grid? Okay. If you got something else to lay on them, off grid, please do.
Yeah, we have a duty, and I'm willing to stick with this with y'all and offer any assistance I can because I don't like stuff like this because it puts a damper on what we do, what Linnea is doing, but anybody that's legit, it puts a damper on us, and we can withstand it because we're legit. But it creates something as to where people that want to experience it, they say, "Well, I'm gonna get my own. I'm gonna get my own." And there's nothing wrong with getting your own, but when we do it together, we can do it better. We can do it bigger. We can do it better. And situations like this, it diminishes that right there. So I think everybody who donated money or in any way was duped by her, please do not let it slide. I mean, even if you just see her on social media, at least screenshot some of the stuff because all the stuff can be used as evidence, but at least do something because she's going to have some people that she duped, and some people feel ashamed and they're not going to say anything. It happens all the time. There's people who get duped, people who stand out like the brother, what was that, Jacoby?
Yeah, Jacoby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's adamant about it. That brother gonna stay on it. But then you'll have somebody else that lost more than him, and because of that fear of ridicule and everything, they won't say anything, and that's where people like her win. So it's like do not let that woman win, even if she does go to Texas and do these other things. Karma it comes back. There's things that happen. Believe me, things happen. That she won't get away with it. But do your diligence and do your part. Don't let that woman slide because
I'm
we
glad
owe a
that you
duty. We owe a duty to the other people because other people are going to be watching this stuff, and we want to let them know that these are the things to look out for. It's a lesson in this right here. It's
Absolutely.
a lesson in this right here. And actually, with what happened to you guys and all of us meeting, this right here is a form of vetting as to where you guys know what to look for. I see what you guys went through, so I know you guys are not trying to pull nothing. That's like an almost instant vetting process for you guys to deal with us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So something good can come up out of this. We just gotta we gotta stay on it, man. Do not let that woman slide.
Yeah, and just to your point, Offred, you're absolutely right. There are 3 other women that don't want to be named. They didn't want to comment on our comments on social media because of the embarrassment. And one of the women went so far as to sell her house with intentions on moving onto the land last November. She ended up having a nervous breakdown because she couldn't tell her husband that she had lost all their money, they had sold their house, and they could not release where they were at. So you are absolutely right. She's embarrassed, and it's just awful. It's absolutely awful. But I'm not going to give up. I'm not. Jacoby definitely isn't, and the others that are in our group, we're pushing forward.
That's
That's
so
terrible,
disheartening
man.
right there.
It's
That's
awful.
crazy right there. That's crazy right there. And I'm glad that we got this we put this panel together tonight because I do have my own organization. We're new. We're not even a year in, and one of the tasks that I wanted to do is exactly what this woman's doing. And like Off Grid said, this is and like we're at infant stages. Like I'm still working on the website, so I haven't even scouted for land or anything like that. But this is an idea that I wanted to do. So this is a huge learning lesson for me. To make sure I have all my T's crossed and I's dotted, before even going out to people. I definitely would not want anything like this on me. And then that's another thing, like, I don't understand, like you said, she's acquired another 98 acres, so she says, and no one has got a refund. If it's been a year or 2 or 3, however long it's been, and there's so many complications happening, that money should be there available for refund. There should be no ifs, ands, buts about that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's just ridiculous. It's a big learning experience. You have our full support, like me and Off Grid said, and we're gonna try to come back tomorrow. I want to make sure you guys subscribe to the page. This is going up tonight. I'm gonna do a few excerpts on it and put it on all my social medias. So you guys make sure you follow me on there. We're gonna keep pounding this thing out for you guys.
Appreciate it. Thank you so very much.
All right. We're signing off. Welcome from Ears to the Street with Fact and Entertainment. Me, I'm your host HG. I want to thank this amazing panel for coming on and sharing their testimonies. I know this isn't an easy thing to talk about, but by talking about it, we shed light on it, and hopefully, and not hopefully, with persistence and consistency, we will see some type of positive result out of this. Some type of justice will, prevail. And I want to thank you guys again.
Thank you.
All right.
Hey, thank y'all.
Yes, thank you for having the show. Thank you.
Thank you.